chasing it clear across the territory of our campsite. Then they needed cash, as they said, for the vending machine. I gave her all the change I had in my pockets, but she needed more. She was certain that my father had some, and I had to go and get it. Meaning I had to steal money from my father. What could I do? I checked the pockets of my father's jacket, then raked out all the coins from my mother's handbag, reassuring myself with the thought that I would protect them in this way, because after this video appeared on the internet, they might have been in trouble. I almost stopped my relationship with Bobby, and she herself was not even eager to walk away. But apparently she didn't know anything about the video shot by her sister. At least, she didn't tell me anything. This went on for a while. I chased rabbits, tried to get cash, and I gave Teddy my portion of dessert after dinner. But she looked at me with a snake-like smile, taking out her smartphone, hinting that change for the vending machine was not exactly what she meant, since she had been dreaming for a long time about getting a new smartphone, and that I could. I just nodded silently, thinking that the time had probably come to tell my father everything. And while I sat on the stairs, preparing for the conversation with my father, thinking about how to tell him everything in a way so that he could understand that I didn't mean anything bad, one of the twins, I still couldn't tell which of the two, suddenly approached me. "Kurt, my brother wants to tell you something, and he's waiting for you in that barn," he said. "We both don't like what Teddy and Bobby came up with, and we think you should know about it." Of course, I was curious. And so I went to the barn, where the second of the twins told me that the sisters together came up with the whole story about this video recording. And he overheard Bobby before she went with a walk with me, instructing her younger sister about what exactly she had to do and where to hide in order to make the best video. So they planned it to make fun of me, pulling pocket money or small services out of me so that Teddy wouldn't post our video on the internet. Can you imagine? I was really terribly angry, but at the same time I realized that now, when they moved from silly pranks about sweets and rabbits to some serious matters, like making me steal a few $100s for them, there was definitely nothing left to do but go and honestly tell everything to my father. My father listened to me, and although I was afraid that he would scold me, he said that I did everything right. And the fact that I wanted to protect my family in this way was a brave and courageous act. Then, however, he laughed and added that I should be more careful with the girls if I, at such a young age, had already become a victim to their deception. After that, my father left and apparently talked with Bobby and Teddy's parents for a while, because I had not seen the sisters around the camp since that day. Their parents probably punished them and forbade them to leave their chalet. I never heard anything more about that stupid video, so I guess it never reached the internet. Now I think I've overreacted, and there was nothing really bad about this video, just two teenagers kissing. But all that time I got really scared and did some stupid things. But I am happy that my father treated me with such understanding. And I hope that his colleague, the father of Bobby and Teddy, didn't punish them too harshly. But I hope that they'll learn their lesson that every vicious plot can be turned against the ones who make it. And please write in the comments what you think of my story, and tell me, was I right to tell everything to my father?
Hello, people. I'm Colin, and this is the story of how I earned money without really working a day in my life. Since I was a kid, I wasn't great at school, but everybody would say that my charm will get me far. I was always the teacher's favorite, and I could always charm my way into some rich girl's heart. So, as soon as I graduated, I did just that. I found a dating app for these old rich cougars who wanted a handsome boy by their side, and I'd go on dates with them. For $200, I'd go with them to a restaurant. For $400, I'd go to their place to spend an evening with them. They were showering me with money, and I loved it for a while. But it soon became very tiring. Some of them started getting crazy and clingy, hiding my car keys so I wouldn't go home after the meeting, or sending their maids to spy on me. I was getting tired, and honestly, a little bit scared when I met her. This woman completely changed my life. I was in a charity event with a cougar when Joyce approached me. She was old, but elegant, She wore a black fur coat, and her laugh echoed through the room. "If I had a man like you, I wouldn't get him out of my sight," she said to me. We talked about her dead rich husband, who left his company and millions to her, and that she doesn't have that much time left, too. So she's trying to enjoy every last bit of it. I was actually enjoying our talk when my date walked up to us and started dragging me away. Just a moment before, Joyce put her hand on mine and whispered, "I could pay you a lot more if you'd agree to just be mine." These words kept echoing in my head the whole evening. Then this interesting thought came into my mind. She's rich, and she's gonna die soon. Who would inherit all of her money? If she had a loving husband, she'd probably leave him everything, wouldn't she? Joyce was the first and only woman that I called and arranged the meeting myself. If only I knew that this is going to be one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. But it was all too tempting. I went to her house. It was the biggest mansion I've ever seen. From then on, I went there every evening for a couple of weeks. And finally, I decided that it is time to execute my plan. We were drinking champagne when I took her hand and told her, "I want to marry you. I know you don't have much time, but I want you to fully live these couple of weeks." She teared up and agreed. Joyce invited an old friend to her house to marry us. He looked sketchy, but I didn't put much thought into it at that time. But honestly, that should have been a red flag. Anyway, I put up quite a show that day. Bought a costume, a veil for her, and a bouquet of flowers. She cried during the whole ceremony. I nearly cried too, because this meant that soon, this house, company shares, all of it, is gonna be mine. She was showering me with gifts. I'd come to her house to see a Lamborghini waiting for me. She bought me one of those Omega watches. She was often traveling on some business trips and would come back with the most interesting stuff. It was so amazing. I felt a little bit guilty. She really was an extraordinary woman with a great taste and an amazing sense of humor. For a moment there, I felt like I might actually fall in love with a 60-year-old woman. But soon, it was over. One morning, I went to her room with breakfast when I saw that she wasn't breathing. I didn't know that this was going to hit me so hard, but it did. I actually felt really sad that she was gone. But I couldn't wait to finally be rich. Soon, her lawyer invited me for a meeting. But I never imagined it would go this way. I came into the room, and there were a couple of other guys waiting there already. They were all arguing and shouting. It sounded like pure chaos. I tried calming them down. "Please, could you shut up for a moment? I'm her husband." And then the lawyer gave me the news that was the biggest slap in my face that I've ever had. "Sir, the problem is, all of you are claiming to be her husband." My heart nearly stopped. I looked at them. They were similar to my age. Handsome, wearing the most beautiful suits and watches. I tried explaining that we had a wedding and all, but when I looked at all the watches, they were all Omega watches. She was buying them in bulk and giving them to all of us. They were her business trips. "It appears you all had fake weddings." But what about the company shares and the house?" I mumbled. "The company assets and property are pawned. This is why I asked you all to come here. She bought all your gifts with company money." I nearly had a panic attack. I was left with no money, no home, and with a dead girlfriend at 19. I walked out of there with my heart bursting out of me and ran back to her house. There was still some of my expensive stuff there. I could at least have that, sell it, make some money. But as I approached the house, I saw workers seizing all of the furniture and stuff. I ran into the home, looked around. It was nearly empty. It was like our luxurious life had never existed. I had no idea what to do. So I literally slept in my Lamborghini for 3 days. The first time in years, I cried. I cried all curled up in a Lamborghini. But soon, they seized that too. The thing is, somehow, strangely, all the secrets made me like her more. I remembered our story. How she approached me, invited some strange friend to marry us. How she'd never talk about her business and travels. She was smart. Honestly, I wish I knew her sooner, and she was here to tell me what I should do next.
Did you like this story? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Dear Diary as we post new stories every week.
Hello, my name is Matthew, and I couldn't get out of a relationship with a girl because this would have affected my family in a really bad way. So, I've just been living with my mum for most of my life, and she's always been a genuinely great person. She spent a lot of time helping people, despite the fact that we ourselves are pretty poor. She would always do some charity work, like work in a homeless shelter or a soup kitchen, and I've always looked up to her. But still, she wasn't perfect. She was always just a little bit too timid or shy. So for the last several years, she's had a lot of trouble finding a job, and we've really struggled financially. Around the same time, I met Amelia. We almost immediately liked each other, and soon we started dating. She was amazing at first, very kind and funny. Everything was going so well that she introduced me to her family almost immediately. It turns out that her father was a successful businessman. He really liked me and was telling me stories about himself the whole evening, so much that Amelia had to stop him because it was getting too late. I realized that he could help my mother with a job, so I asked him about it. He was happy to help, and gave my mum a job at his company. It wasn't anything special, but it was a job. My mum was very excited about it, but also pretty anxious. Because of her anxiety, she messed up a lot, and Amelia's family wasn't exactly happy about it. Around this time, Amelia changed. Instead of the sweet, caring girl, she became kind of spoiled and whiny. She would always make fun of people on the street and spread rumors about people we knew, and then get upset when I'd ask her to stop. So I guess at first, she tried to show herself in the best possible light, but then she relaxed, showed her true colors. I hated spending time with her, and really wanted to break up, but I couldn't because I didn't know what would happen to my mum and her job. So I had to figure out how to make her break up with me instead. At first, I just decided to annoy her. Amelia cared about what people thought of her way too much, so I started to wear goofy clothing when we were together. And when we'd hang out with her friends, I would tell the dumbest jokes ever. She was extremely annoyed and embarrassed, and acted like she hated spending time with me. But, for some reason, she wouldn't break up with me. Sometimes I'd help my mum when she was volunteering at soup kitchens for the homeless, and I knew that Amelia would hate doing something like that. So I planned a perfect bad date. I told her I wanted to surprise her, and took her to one of those kitchens. And we spent around an hour there, working until she just left. Disgusted and annoyed. She really didn't want to have anything to do with work like this. I took her home, and I had to act upset the whole time. Well, in reality, I was happy that she would hopefully finally get rid of me. But something totally unexpected happened. She didn't break up with me, but she did whine about the whole situation to her father, and he was impressed by me because I was so responsible for my age. He was so impressed, in fact, that he took me on a fishing trip together with Amelia. It was so awkward because he was just singing my praises all day. To him, I was like the son he never had. He always dreamed of the day when he'd give his business to his son, who would succeed him. Amelia just sat next to us the whole day, doing something on her phone. But I saw how annoyed she was, because he never even considered giving his business to her. Okay, I have to admit something. Well, I realized how bad of a situation I was in. It was tempting to have a chance to take over someone's successful business, especially when you're used to being poor. So, I was telling myself that maybe Amelia wasn't so bad, and maybe I should stay with her. But the situation reached its peak of awkwardness when Amelia's parents had their anniversary party. They had it in their mansion, and it was super fancy and official. I felt so out of place there, especially every time Amelia's father would introduce me to his friends. After a ton of handshakes and small talk, the worst thing happened. They decided to take a family picture, like him, his wife, and Amelia. And of course, they invited me to be part of the picture. I tried my best to genuinely smile, but my eyes were clearly saying, "Oh no, please help me. No, no, no." I felt like this was the point of no return, and I really didn't know if I could endure being with Amelia, who disappeared right after the photo. I was looking around for her, but didn't find her. Finally, I decided to look for her outside. She was sitting in the stairway, crying. When she saw me, She had this genuine anger in her eyes. I asked what was wrong. And it turned out that she was upset that her father never paid any attention to her, especially once I appeared in their lives. He never cared about what she had to say. She confessed that she stopped liking me a long time ago, but her father was always trying to persuade her to stay with me, because I was such a great guy. We sat silently for a few minutes, and my mind was racing. Both me and Amelia were miserable in this relationship, but at the same time, me and my mum were getting so much from her father. In the end, I decided to break up with her, right then and there. She smiled with relief when I did, and I hoped this would end in a civil way. But no, her smile of relief quickly changed to something more devious. She went back to the house, kind of fake crying, and announced to her father that I'd broken up with her. Her dad tried to laugh it off, like it was some kind of prank. I was watching from a distance, and I felt like I was going to die from shame right there and then. Her father asked me if this was a joke, and I just stared at him. He took me and Amelia to our private room and asked me to reconsider. Amelia was super mad because she wanted her father to feel sorry for her and, comfort her. But instead he was doing the complete opposite. I politely refused to reconsider. He sighed and said, fine. And Amelia loudly told me to leave, which I did. Her father asked me if I wanted him to get me a taxi home. I wanted to say yes, but then I saw Amelia's facial expression and politely refused again. After a long walk in a two-piece suit, I made it home. I didn't know whether I was happy or not. After a week, my mum lost her job, and I had to tell her why it happened. My mum laughed it off and said, good, I didn't like that girl anyway. She was extremely proud of me, because I guess I made the right choice, but it didn't feel like it because she lost her job. But she was sure that there was no point in making money if the way you have to get it makes you miserable. I guess she's right, and I think she's almost found a new job. Anyway, she'll never give up. Have any of you had any problems like this? Have you had a tough time breaking up with someone? Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you have.